Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, in this video, we're going to look at two players, quite very interesting, very talented, very technically gifted, two attacking minds, and two very good players in terms of giving you that defensive output in the central midfield area. And I've come to a conclusion personally that Arsenal should actually sign both of the players instead of giving us hard time on choosing who should we sign. But the question and the role you have in this video in the comment section is very, very similar to the job you did on Youri Tielemans versus Serge Milinkovic-Savic. You're going to tell me, you're going to let me know, among these two, between these two players, Youri Tielemans and Lucas Paqueta, which player do you prefer? Which player do you think Arsenal should sign? Each of them has their own advantages when it comes to that central midfield area. When you look at the versatility of Lucas Paqueta, when you look at the Premier League experience of Youri Tielemans, each player would come with their own set of advantages. But in this video, what I'm going to do for you is try to simplify both players, try to show you what each of them has as an advantage over the other. And probably I will tell you why I think Arsenal need to sign both of them rather than giving us headache of who we prefer. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 53,000 subscribers. But in the comment section, let me know. Is it Lucas Paqueta? Is it Youri Tielemans? Of course, a reason. Tell me why you prefer Youri Tielemans over Paqueta, or why you prefer Lucas Paqueta over Youri Tielemans. Now, the first thing you have to think think about and look into about these two players is versatility. It's one of the things that both of them share. Lucas Paqueta can play in very, very many different positions, and also across very, very many systems. He can play for you in that 4-3-3 system as a central midfielder, or just as part of the attacking midfield. He can play as a central midfielder, predominantly as a number 8. He can play as a left attacking midfielder. He can play as a right attacking midfielder. We've seen that with Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard a lot of the time last campaign, when Thomas Partey played in a single pivot, and both of them or each of them acted as an attacking midfielder. So Lucas Paqueta, in his ability as a player, of course, being Brazilian, he's got a lot of attack, a lot of the attacking mind, and a lot of the attacking, prospect to his game. So when you actually look at him, you're thinking of an attacking minded player. You're thinking about a player who loves being on the ball all the time, a player who's going to drive you forward, and a player who's always going to affect the final third of the game. So like I said, in terms of versatility, I think he's better than Youri Tielemans, because Tielemans can play for you as a central midfielder, as a central attacking midfielder, as a left attacking midfielder, and probably as a right attacking midfielder. But when you look at Lucas Paqueta, the more positions you can create in that midfield, the more times he can, adapt, and the more positions he can play. So in terms of versatility, in terms of a player, you can switch with Partey, switch with I don't think you can switch him with Partey, but I think you can switch him with Fabio Vieira. You can switch him with Martin Odegaard. And actually, when people have done a comparison with him, they've done with a comparison with him on Youri Tielemans. They've done a comparison with him against Youri Tielemans and Fabio Vieira and the likes of Martin Odegaard. He seems to be much of an attacking midfielder, but the truth is, Lucas Paqueta is better as a central attacking midfielder or as a central midfielder. So in terms of versatility, then I would definitely say Lucas Paqueta is the better player. He can play across more positions, and also across more systems as compared to Youri Tielemans. Now, the other thing I would love to talk about in this video, and as a ground of comparing these two players, is the defensive attribute and also their attacking numbers. They're very, very interesting in terms of what they do and in terms of what they can do. But when you look at what they've done across the last 2 seasons, in terms of creating and also assisting, Lucas Paqueta has also been a far better player. Of course, Yuri Tillemans has been very, very consistent for Leicester City, scoring 6 goals and assisting 4 times in each of the last 2 seasons. That is 10 goals per campaign, and that is 20 goal involvements across the last 2 campaigns. However, ever since making that switch to Lyon in France, Lucas Paqueta has been a very, very exciting player and a very, very important player for them. He has assisted. He scored 9 times and assisted 5 times for them in their for them in his first season in the French Ligue 1. And last campaign he scored 9 times and assisting 6 times as well. So that means in his first campaign he had 14 goal involvements, and last campaign he had 15 goal involvements. When you think about his 15 goal involvements last campaign in the French Ligue 1, and you think about Yuri Tillemans' 20 goal involvements across 2 seasons, then you think Lucas Paqueta attacking wise could be the better player. But also in terms of other statistics here on in terms of attacking, if you look at these 3, Yuri Tillemans, Lucas Paqueta, and Fabio Vieira, in the last campaigns, in terms of goals in all competitions, Lucas Paqueta scored 11, Yuri Tillemans and Fabio Vieira scored 7. So that means Lucas Paqueta scored more goals than Yuri Tillemans and Fabio Vieira. Now, in terms of assisting, he had 7 assists across all competitions. Yuri Tillemans had 5, and Fabio Vieira, of course, we know the strength of Fabio Vieira. He's that attacking midfielder. He's a very, very open attacking midfielder. He's very, very open about it. He says, "Me, I'm an attacking midfielder, and I'm very, very like to Martin Odegaard." So Fabio Vieira is the only player among the 3 that has double figures in terms of assisting, shots per game, or shots per 90. Lucas Paqueta again there, averaging more shots per 90 than Yuri Tillemans and Fabio Vieira. That is 2.5, 2.5 as opposed to the 1.3 for Yuri Tillemans and the 1.6 for Fabio Vieira. Key passes per 90. This is what is interesting, because when we talked about key passes per 90, when we were comparing Yuri Tillemans and Serge Milinkovic-Savic, we found out that Yuri Tillemans had more key passes than Serge Milinkovic-Savic, despite the fact that Serge Milinkovic-Savic has played in those attacking midfield areas. So, Yuri Tillemans was averaging more key passes into the final third than Serge Milinkovic-Savic. Now, when you talk about this, Lucas Paqueta is actually having more key passes in the last season: 1.4, 1.0 for Yuri Tillemans, and 1.3 for Fabio Vieira. And it shows that Lucas Paqueta is having more key passes as a central midfielder than Fabio Vieira, who is an attacking midfielder. That is quite some very, very good work. In terms of dribbles per 90, he's also averaging more dribbles per 90 as compared to Yuri Tillemans by far. 2.1, 0.9 for Tillemans, and 0.8 for Fabio Vieira. Touches per 90, he's averaging 60.7. Yuri Tillemans averaging more touches, which is 67.7. And Fabio Vieira, of course, being an attacking midfielder, is only having 38.4. Now, what more touches mean? We've talked about this when we were talking about the debate between Serge Milinkovic-Savic and Yuri Tillemans. The more touches your player in the midfield has, the more dominance and the more times and the more amount of the ball or share of the ball you're gonna have. So you want your central midfielders to average more touches, and you want your defensive midfielders as well to average more touches, because the central midfield in systems like Eric Ten Hag's, Mikel Arteta's, and Pep Guardiola's is all about dominating. You always have to be on it, and you always have to be able to dominate football games. And you cannot dominate football games when your central midfielders and defensive midfielders are not averaging as many touches as they can. So in terms of total dominance, we can measure that in the number of touches. Then Yuri Tillemans is the better player. So big chances missed per 90. Lucas Paqueta is missing 11 chances per season. Last campaign, he missed 11 chances. 11 chances. Fabio Vieira and Yuri Tillemans missed 2, and big chances created. He created 15 big chances. Yuri Tillemans created 8, and Fabio Vieira created 16. You know what? I mean, what that does is Lucas Paqueta is influencing and is affecting the final third, shot creating actions, and also the goal scoring process more and better than Yuri Tillemans and Fabio Vieira combined. Because the fact that he's missing many chances, many big chances, it means he arrives in those areas. He gets into those areas. He carries himself and gets into those goal scoring areas. And the fact that he's creating 15 goals, 15 big, he's creating 15 big chances. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. It means that even if you played him in a single pivot where Thomas Partey sits in and then he plays alongside Martin Odegaard as the other attacking midfielder, he would be able to give us more goal scoring opportunities and more assists. So in terms of scoring goals, in terms of assisting, in terms of affecting the overall game, going forward, Lucas Paqueta is by far better than Yuri Tillemans. But do not worry, Yuri Tillemans diehards. Probably there is a way we can beat Lucas Paqueta, and that could be in the defensive attributes of the game. Now, when you look at the defensive attributes of the game, or the defensive statistics of these 3 players last campaign, this is what it actually shows. Tackles per game, Lucas Paqueta was averaging 1.9. Yuri Tillemans 0.7 and Fabio Vieira 0.8 for Yuri Tillemans, and Fabio Vieira was averaging 0.7 tackles per 90. Interceptions 0.3 for Lucas Paqueta, 0.5 for Yuri Tillemans, and 0.4 for Fabio Vieira, and also fouls per 90. Lucas Paqueta 1.8. Yuri Tillemans 1.1, and Fabio Vieira committing only 0.7 fouls per 90. So these statistics are quite key to understanding what exactly Arsenal would be getting in signing these 2 players, and also understanding which player has the better overall game. So when you think about the better overall game, when we think about which player has got the better ability to impact our midfield, and also to make sure that Arsenal get that kind of dominance in the midfield, Lucas Paqueta is the better player. But I come to the conclusion, lads, that between these 2, Arsenal should sign none and should leave none of them. The reason is this is the reason why I think Arsenal need to sign both of them. Now the reason is, when you think about Lucas Paqueta and his 60 million euro price tag, and the kind of player we've seen and the number of statistics we've looked at, is 100% okay. It is 100% okay to pay 60 million euros for that talent. But Yuri Tillemans is a player who has consistently played at a top level in the Premier League, and his numbers are not dropping. Although Lucas Paqueta is better, a reason as to why Arsenal need to sign him, Yuri Tillemans has played in the Premier League at a more consistent basis, and he knows the league and he understands exactly what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, and he can fit into the system very, very well. So for me, the fact that Lucas Paqueta can play across very many different positions, it means Yuri Tillemans can come in as our main central midfielder, and then Lucas Paqueta can find another place to play. Otherwise, I also think in terms of signing an attacker, in terms of signing a midfielder, a winger, Arsenal should sign Lucas Paqueta as a left attacking midfielder rather than signing a traditional winger. I hope it makes sense. We can use Lucas Paqueta as a winger, but kind of inverted, or if not that, you can use him as a left attacking midfielder. So that means he drifts inside and doesn't, run up to the byline. And I think that would actually, make us better signing both of them and not just one of them.